There are three loose categories of gamer YouTubers. There's the Let's Players like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. There's the video essay guys like Donkey and Nakey Jakey, my goat. And there's the hardcore gamers like Lil Aggie and Mitten Squad. People who do gaming challenges. I've so far spent my time as a YouTuber in the realm between Naked Jacobs and squads of mittens, but I think I've failed to really prove myself as a gamer, to establish myself in the pantheon of gamer goats. So today, I'd like to take a step towards the hardcore category. A big step, done by completing the Elden Ring Ascended mod. If you haven't seen this mod yet, it basically takes Elden Ring and injects it with whatever the f*** Liver King is taking. I actually got the idea to beat this mod from Iron Pineapple, shoutouts, who completed the game using this mod about 3 months ago. In that time though, there have been new versions of the mod released, notably the Hell mode and the hardest mode to date, at least to this date, the Age of Stars mode. Here's a list of things that change in the Age of Stars mode. First of all, it's always night. Next, every enemy hit does some sort of status effect. Sometimes even just being near an enemy does some sort of status damage, and on Age of Stars, the status damage is 50% stronger. The most exciting thing this mod does is add more enemies all over the place, in the overworld, and more importantly in the boss rooms themselves. Speaking of bosses, guess what? They're all stronger. They all do more damage and have more health, and when they reach half health, they start doing more damage and double in defenses, meaning they only take half as much damage. There's a couple other small things, like all projectiles are twice as fast and they're all tripled in amount. Your health, stamina, and FP is permanently slashed. The Ashes of War take, if I did my math right, which is incredibly unlikely, 4 times as much FP to use, and some other stuff. I don't even know all the stuff that changed, to be honest. To make things even worse for myself, I'm going to beat all of the shard bearers before beating the game, just to prove that I truly am a gamer god. Also, just in the Christmas spirit, of course, I made it so that it's always snowing. It's pretty nice. I like it. Funny enough, I've already tried to beat this challenge. I streamed it a bit. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/dumpykong. But it was really hard, and I just kind of forgot about it, but not this time. This time, I'll make it harder, and I'll complete it as Santa Claus. Yes, sir or ma'am, this truly is an Elden Ring Christmas special. Hi, Editor John here. You know what I want for Christmas? I want some subscribers, bro. Look at this ratio. This is terrible. I think it's because I never shouted out, like, you know, most YouTubers are like, yo, smash the bell, click the button, whatever. I don't usually ever say that, but I'm suffering because of it. So if you could give me the Christmas present of pressing a button that is free for you, that would be fantastic. Helps me out, doesn't hurt you. Thanks for watching. To balance the game out a bit, every piece of armor has a buff on it, every weapon has something special, and every talisman has its effects boosted in some way. Also, every class has been changed to give you a little extra. I chose the Duelist class as it comes with a couple different weapons, a bow, and a shield. It seemed pretty well balanced. The first thing we do in any playthrough, of course, is face the... Wait, what the fuck? Why is there a fog gate? Oh god, why are you here? Okay, well that didn't go well, but who cares? I don't need to kill them. I need to kill the shard bearers. But you know what? I'd like to beat the Soldier of Godric. That seems like a strong way to start off, right? And oh boy is he's different. Oh yeah, healing also doesn't do shit anymore. Can't even refill my tiny sliver of health with 1 flask. I died on my first try, I died on my second try, my third... You know what? Take a guess how many times I died. 5, 10, 20, 50. I could do this all day. I died 91 times. On my 92nd try, I finally beat the Soldier of Godric. Yes! I have like 2 hours of footage of me fighting this guy. This is what every boss is gonna be like. I was absolutely boned. After I beat Rick, I figured the first thing I should do is upgrade my flask. You know, considering. So I went to the Weeping Peninsula, ran the Sacred Tear Gauntlet, and then tracked back to Limgrave and picked up some upgrades there, including the Physic Flask, and then I met with Ronnie. A cool thing I forgot to mention is that nearly all the summons in the game have been changed too. So the Wolf summon that Ronnie gives you actually summons 3 Kaiden warriors now, which is a major help. Also, all the runes you gain from killing enemies and bosses are boosted a lot, so you can level up faster. With that in mind, my next step is to grind. While I was streaming this the first time, I discovered something... I'll just show you. $30K? Why is it doing that? What is happening here? $30K? Yeah, this was a game changer. I grinded until I reached level 100, grabbed some talismans, upgraded my weapons a bit, and faced the first big bad, Margit. Margit himself was manageable, but alongside him are two omens that make this fight nearly impossible. Thankfully, from help with Big Raj and a Burial Watchdog summon, the 3v1 becomes a much easier 3v3, and after 19 tries, I killed Margit. Yes! There's a train, baby! Nearly 4 hours into this challenge. Fuck me. Next move, get through Stormvale Castle and reach Godric. With the way more brutal projectiles, it shouldn't have been possible, but I actually made it through the main gate on my first try. Now all I gotta do is get absolutely bodied by Godric. Oh, and he has 2 grafted scions with him, of course. It's brutal, man. This is where the pattern of fight boss, lose, train up, and fight boss again came to be. So I just did that. I lost, upgraded my summons, got some new weapons, I leveled up, and then I got back in there, just like Santa would. Probably. I also didn't mention that you can put any Ash of War on any weapon, so I put the Unsheath Ash of War on my Executioner's Axe, and I found Commander Niall's Spear Staff thing, and the buff from that weapon skill gives you extra damage output and infinite FP. So anytime you see me on fire, it's because I used that. I could spam the Unsheath ability, and boy did I. But it didn't make this easy by any means. It took me 27 tries to just get his second phase. Oh, another thing I didn't mention, yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't mention yet, get used to it, but some projectiles have a heat-seeking effect, so when Godric does this little tornado thing, it just circles around me until I get hit by it. It's fucked. After some more fighting and learning literally every little aspect of Godric's moveset, I did it. It felt so good. No cheese, no magic, just mano-y-mano, axe to axe. The next Stridebearer would not be nearly as fun. But before I get to her, I have to travel through Liurnia of the Lakes, and it was full of suffering. I pretty much just ran straight to the academy, got the grace, then went and grabbed the key by Smaragd, I was not fighting that guy, and got in the academy. This place is not much better. Worse, even. I can't even get to the door, much less inside the place. I had to summon to get inside. You guys see why this challenge is so hard, right? Anyway, I made it in, I made it through, and then I faced off with the Red Wolf of Radagon and a friend of his. On my way to the academy, I picked up a new summon. Not one watchdog, but 2 watchdogs. They jumped the wolf and made a boss fight look easy for the first time this whole run. Don't get used to that. Before getting to Renala, I had to go through Moongrum. I sent him up the elevator and it came back empty, and then he died. Tight, because he was beating my ass. Now, Renala, I wish I could have just sent up an elevator. Her first phase was pretty much the same, except the flying books were much faster and you had to hit 4 of these little to break her shield instead of 3, but really not all too bad. Her second phase, though, take a look. Yeah, man, it's messed up. I could hardly reach her. There was no way I was gonna beat her like this. Not even a shield helped. So I put on my thinking cap and came up with a solution. There's one Ash of War that is very popular in Elden Ring, for both PvP and for PvE, Bloodhound Step. It's great, better than rolling, and with infinite FP, I could spam it and reach Renala. The only problem is getting it. To get it, you have to beat the Knight's Cavalry, a Black Air Force's version of the Tree Sentinel. And to make things worse, he one-shots me with literally every attack. So, if I can't solve a problem with another problem, I'll solve that problem with another problem. To buff myself up a bit for this, I went to repair Godric's Great Rune. Thankfully, the problem here is much simpler to solve. Just run! I got the Great Rune, busted it, and was able to kill the Knight's Cavalry because of it. Or maybe it was just a placebo. Who cares? It worked. I got like 8 million runes because of it, and was ready for round 2 with Renala. And you know what? The Bloodhound Step worked like a charm. Her summons were still a major issue, but at least I could get in and do some damage. Even though her health had been buffed, I was able to melt her pretty fast with my big axe katana thing. This win felt even better than Godric because it wasn't just grind up and win. I got to solve a real issue. I was proud of myself. Too bad this is all about a video game and nothing to do with real life, huh? Yeah, anyway, to the Altus Plateau we go. To even fight Morgott, who is our next target by the way, there are some pretty huge obstacles. First of all, I gotta pay the entry toll of Leyndell, getting spanked by the Draconic Tree Sentinel. He's got a friend now. Thankfully, his friend the Gargoyle is pretty weak. That being said, the Tree Sentinel one-shots me, so it kinda balances out. The fight wasn't too bad though, as soon as I realized I could bait the Gargoyle to fight by himself, kill him, and then fight the big guy alone. The second obstacle is actually making it through the capital. Man, this place looks fantastic in the snow. Now let's run through it and skip everything. Oh, and Melina ditched me. The third and final obstacle before I can face Morgott is a pretty large obstacle. A tall, ripped, axe-throwing obstacle. Well, I thought he would be tough. Anyway, it was pretty tough, but it was this little he was with, the sanguine noble, that was the real issue. He's an elite, you can tell by the flames, and that just makes it impossible to kill him. He barely takes damage, he kills me with almost every single attack he has. I was screwed. I needed once again to solve a problem with a problem. So far, I've been using the burial watchdogs for a while now, but I think it's time for an upgrade. On the Nexus mod page, it shows a list of summons that replace the vanilla summons, and I noticed that there was one that will summon 4 Erd Tree Guardians. The Tree Coochie guys? That's sick. With 4 of them, surely I can beat Godfrey, right? I went, got the summon I needed, leveled it up, and went for round 2. Oh, that's not who I thought they were. Okay, I need to reassess. Looking at this list, there's one big standout, the Ancient Dragon. He replaces the Nomad Spirit Ash, which is found in the subterranean shunning grounds. So I battled through Blighttown, found the ashes, leveled them up, and went for round 3. And this guy carried me. Not only did he keep the noble busy, but he did a ton of damage to Godfrey. This guy was the secret weapon I needed. With Godfrey down, I could take on the real boss, Morgott. Oh, and Mohg. So this is the boss, huh? What the happened? Okay, so it turns out Mohg is broken. I'm pretty sure he breaks when you summon, but it ain't my problem. The dragon soloed Morgott while I pummeled Mohg, and I got my 3rd Great Rune. Just 4 more to go. And then, you know, like 6 more bosses to actually beat the game. So now the game really opens up. I can kill the following bosses in any order: Radahn, Rykard, Mohg, and Malenia. I usually never have an issue with Rykard, so I figured I'd get to him next. Well, that was the plan. Stick with me here. I went to Volcano Manor, beat the Godskin Noble, died 37 times to these little sorcerer guys, got to the boss room, scooped up the Serpent Hunter, and dipped out to upgrade it. I made it nice and strong, and got ready to face Rykard. In his boss room, there's like a dozen of these little serpent guys, but because you have to get close to Rykard to start the fight, you can just get rid of them first, which is really nice. That does mean, though, that every single time you try to fight him, you gotta kill all these little guys, or they'll just get you killed for sure. Speaking of getting killed, Rykard one-shots with every single attack, which is absolutely f***ed, because he has a lot of health. A lot. I gave it 15 attempts, but ultimately got discouraged and decided to come back to him later. I figured the next easiest boss would be Radahn. He hasn't really been an issue for me in my normal playthroughs, got owned in my Eldamon playthrough. I bullied him pretty hard when I killed every boss in New Game plus 10. I got this. I did not have this. To start, I can't even approach Radahn. Look at this shit. I'm sure I could have got to him somehow, some way, but that. Solution time. You can't use spirit ashes in this fight, so I summoned the spirits on the field to charge him, and once they got close enough, he'd pull his swords out and I could finally beat him up. And beat him up I would. Until he starts his phase 2, where he flies away and comes crashing into the earth with an attack that covers the entire arena. You literally cannot escape it. So I either need to tank this attack or straight up make myself invulnerable. I decided to go with the former? I went and got the Opaline Bubble Tier so that as soon as phase 2 started, I could down it and eat the attack. And now, with a fair shot, I managed to beat Radahn in a pretty beautiful battle. Okay, now I gotta talk about Mohg. First of all, this place. This is absolute annoying, most bullshit thing I've ever seen in my life, but hey, that's the mod, right? Whatever. But the fight with Mohg, well, it wasn't really a fight. Remember when Mohg just powered down while I was fighting Morgott? Well, he was doing that here too. I actually couldn't even kill him. Even with 0 HP, he just wouldn't die. Forgive me, Lord, I had to cheat and give myself the Great Rune and Remembrance, which was actually really disappointing. Like I said before, pretty sure it's because I'm summoning, but I didn't make this shit. I'm not getting punished for it. A bit of a letdown, kinda cheated, kinda didn't, but let's move on. So there's only 2 shard bearers remaining, Malenia and Rykard. I'm sure Malenia will be a nightmare, so I'm going back to Rykard. I fought Rykard for hours. At this point, I had died to him 46 times, and as much as I wanted to save Malenia for last, I just can't do it anymore. So let's go get her first. To reach Malenia, you gotta first beat Loretta. Loretta was pretty cracked. Her magic was just so fast, and it all one-shots. And oh, she died. What the fuck is going on? At the time, I didn't know what happened, but I'll explain it later. No, let's move on. Reaching Malenia sucked. It was a very ugly process. Just about 30 deaths before I got to the fog gate, but I made it, ready to take on the goddess of fucking ball torture. Melania, much like most other bosses, was not alone. She had 2 clean rot knights with her. Not too big of a deal. They die pretty fast and Melania isn't in much of a rush to fight most of the time. Another good thing is that Melania doesn't heal from doing damage anymore. No, she just has like 1,000,000 health, which is actually better, I think. If she was absorbing health, she could have like infinite health, but it being limited, even if it is a big damn limit, makes this much more manageable and makes summoning actually helpful. I tried fighting her normally at first, like I had been with every other boss. Flaming Axe and either Unsheath or Lion's Claw attached. But against Melania, I could tell pretty quickly that this just wasn't going to work. Even with summons, Melania just shreds. I didn't bring it up earlier, but this whole challenge I've been avoiding using magic. Iron Pineapple, no shade, well, a little shade. Kinda abused magic to beat this challenge, and that's fine. This is hard, but I really didn't want to use magic because I enjoy Elden Ring combat. The sword-to-sword action is what I live for. But like I said, against Melania, I just wasn't going to be able to keep up. So I delved into the dark arts and got some spells. I tried Common Azure first, but that didn't work how I thought it would. The next spell I used was Loretta's Mastery. You get this spell from beating Loretta, and it was perfect. I could summon my dragon, use him to distract Melania, and then just pelt her with arrows. It still wasn't easy, but this strat got me the win and left me with only 1 shard bearer left in my path. Rykard. 1 hit, any hit, would kill me. So I buckled down, summoned my Virgin Abductors, buffed them, then realized what had happened with Loretta. I didn't mention them earlier, but a great Spirit Ash I picked up was the Virgin Abductors. They're tough, they do a lot of damage, I like them a lot. But it turns out that for some reason, if you summon them and then buff them with Niall's Spear, they will literally destroy anything in their path. I had to go back through my footage and see if the same thing happened with Loretta, and would you look at that. Summon, buff, shred. Well, it was a pretty lame way to win, and I won't use it again because it's basically cheating, but f*** Rykard. I put 19 hours into trying to beat this guy fair and square, and honestly, I'll take the accidental win. So that's it. All the shard bearers down. Now I just have to, beat the game. There's a huge gauntlet ahead of me, starting with the Fire Giant. Like Radahn, the Fire Giant has not really been an issue for me in the past, and I took quite the beating. He was not easy. Pretty far from it, but after some time and a fake phase 2, not sure what happened there, but hey, we take those, I got him. If you've beaten Elden Ring, you know that this is just the start of the endgame boss rush. The next boss, after burning the Erd Tree and progressing through Farum Azula, is the Godskin Duo. Guess what? I beat them first try. I haven't beaten any bosses first try this whole challenge. I was terrified of them, but hey, I guess I'm overqualified at this point, right? Wrong. The second boss of Farum Azula, Malekith, or Beast Clergyman, whatever, proved me very wrong. First off, the Draconic Tree Sentinel that is usually guarding the gate is now inside the Fog Gate. Thankfully though, after I kill him once, he doesn't come back. So after I beat him once, all I had to do was beat Malekith 1v1. Even 2v1, but it was not nearly as easy as it sounded. He does a lot of damage, and he is really hard to hit. I used my Dragon Summon for this fight because he can take a beating and he's really good at holding aggro, and with some time, after mixing magic and melee attacks, I was able to finish him off. Only a few more bosses to go. Once you beat Malekith, you're transported to the capital of Ash. Here, you face Gideon Ofnir, the All-Knowing, a powerful... What the fuck? Oh, okay. That's it? Okay, nice change of pace, I guess. Fine, moving on. A real challenge. Godfrey and Radahn. Well, this was probably one of the hardest fights in the entire challenge, honestly. It wasn't even because 2 insanely strong bosses were in the same room. No, Radahn was hardly a problem because at the start of phase 2, he would just fly off, but it was because Godfrey just didn't let up. He was on my ass every damn second and would kill me super fast if I wasn't careful. He was pretty similar to Malekith now that I think about it, and I beat Godfrey the same way, mixing magic and melee attacks. These two, Radahn and Godfrey, are actually my 2 favorite bosses, so I was pretty happy to fight them both together here. But with them out of the way, well, kinda, Radahn respawns, which is really annoying. With them out of the way, I can face the final bosses, Radagon and the Elden Beast. Radagon beat me up pretty good, but he was manageable. I could spam him with magic pretty safely, and I did. Lastly, I would have to face the Elden Beast, or so I thought. The Fire Giant, Placidusax, and Estelle all replaced the Elden Beast. Oh my god. I fought, but dude, they're just so strong. After dying to them a bunch, I kinda felt lost. Santa wasn't saving Christmas this time, kids. That was until Rudolph came along. Instead of my dragon, I summoned Rudolph, and with his nose so bright, I was able to spam each individual boss with magic. I got no shame, I don't care, Santa's got things to do. And because of my good buddy, I beat them all, and was able to repair the Elden Ring. In hindsight, I probably should have done the Age of Stars ending, considering, the name of the mod is, but we'll take the Age of Fracture. And that's it. The hardest challenge I've ever done, that's for sure. Hopefully this helped me prove myself a little bit, and brings me one step closer to the gamer gods of legend. If you watched and thought, hey, I could do this easily, then please, by all means, give it a shot. I'll link the mod in the description so that you can check it out. There's also Ascended mods for every other FromSoft game, so who knows, maybe I'll try those someday too. That's it for me, folks. If you're craving more Elden Ring content, go check out my Elden Ring Nuzlocke video. And with that, thanks for watching, everyone. GG's.